What's up everyone, Lance Hedrick here, and today we're going to take a look at what I think is the simplest and best modification you can make to your home espresso machine regardless of the quality. As long as it has an Ulca pump, some sort of vibratory pump, you're going to be able to do this and get complete flow control over your espresso. Buckle up. So today we're going to look at the Breville Bambino Plus, but I'm just doing it because it's the machine I had lying around that I had modded, so I'm going to throw the modification onto this. But the way I do this can be applied to literally any machine, definitely with an Ulca pump, but I'm pretty confident with a vibratory pump in general. If you're wondering if you have that, just go ahead and Google your machine. You should be able to find that pretty easily, but you probably have an Ulca pump in your home machine. And so this modification is for you. All you need to do this mod is simply some needle nose pliers, and a screwdriver to get the screws out so you can open the back up. For this machine, I need a flathead in order to pry the back off because it has little clips in it. You may not need that depending on your machine. You need something to strip wire and to crimp. I know you're starting to get intimidated. I promise you, it's not that hard, okay? Something that can strip and crimp. You're gonna need some male and female spades, which look like this. And they need to be the 14 to 16 side. That's the quote-unquote female. And here is nope, that's not the male. Come on, baby. The male, okay? So you need those, and they're 14, 16 size. Then you need a single pole dimmer that you can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever you are at in the world, wherever you can get a single pole dimmer. So this, you want to make sure it's not a three-way. You want it to be single, and I just destroyed this box, but it's fine because I'm pulling it out. So you just want it to have 2 wires on it, and you want it to be the cheaper the better. So it needs to have 2 wires and then this ground wire, okay? Now if it's something for LED or some sort of fancy schmancy light switch, that is likely not going to work. You want it to be low grade. This was $5 for me at Walmart. So something like this, all right? And then finally, you're going to want to buy a little extra wire that is 14 AWG, all right? Now once we have all these, we're ready to go. So get all this ready, get your machine out, and then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the Ulca pump, or the vibratory pump. So I'm going to pull the back off. I've already unscrewed it, obviously. And so we're going to switch to the side camera, and I'm going to show you what the pump looks like. All right, so now we have the back open. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look around, and we're going to find the Ulca pump. And look at this. It says right here, U-L-K-A, Ulca. So we found the Ulca pump. In the Bambino, it's right here. And we have 2 feeding wires going into it, right here and right here. Now if you see, the wires going into it have that female spade on it, and on the pump itself there are 2 little male spades, all right? So all we're gonna do for this modification, it's very simple. I'm just gonna tell you what it is, and then I'm actually gonna perform it on this machine. All we're going to do is route into the circuit a dimmer. So there's no, you don't have to worry about polarity. Either one of these will work. I'm going to take the easy one, the one that's on the further out, and we're going to just literally route into the circuit the dimmer. So essentially what we'll do is we're going to unplug this, and then we're going to plug it into the dimmer. So we're going to take one of the wires, we're going to plug it into the dimmer, and then this other wire we're going to plug back into the pump. And then we have effectively routed our dimmer into the pump. Now the idea of this is when you actuate the brew button, what's going to happen is the decision for what's going to happen to the pump is going to have to go through the dimmer now. So you click that button, the decision for the pump to turn on is dictated now by the dimmer, so you're going to be able to turn the decision up or turn it down. Now what that means is you're controlling the power to the Ulca, which means you're controlling the power to the piston, which is releasing the water. So once you have control over that, you can control effectively the flow rate coming out of the group. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take out a couple of male and female spades. All right, so what we're going to have to take into account is that both of these are going to need a spade. The one that we pull out of here already has a spade on it, so I'm going to take my needle nose pliers. I'm going to hold the pump in place, and I'm just going to pull down, like so. So as you see right there, let me move this out of the way. We have the female spade pulled out. Now all we're going to do, as I said, is we're going to route this into that spade and then route this side back into here. But as you can see, if I were to do this with the wire that's connected to the dimmer, there's not enough room to get the dimmer out of the back of the machine. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add some of our own wire, all right, which is why we need the crimp, everything else. So first things first, let's go ahead and add a little bit of wire to this in order to make this work. So I'm going to take the tips off of here. Boom, boom. I'm going to go ahead and take some wire. And go ahead and kind of measure, eyeball it. I don't get really precise with it, but eyeball it so that you know it's going to be able to come out. And before continuing, I do want to say you have the ability, if you're inclined with a small machine like this, you can move some of the stuff around and try to situate the dimmer inside the machine, drill a hole through the machine and have a knob on the outside. Or you can do it the way I do it, which is the easy, lazy way that's a lot uglier. And you can route it to the outside. You can buy some sort of plastic sheath for the wires that are going into it. And you can mount it on the side with some sort of adhesive strips inside of a light switch box. It's uglier, it's effective, it's easier, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and take some wire and kind of eyeball how much I'm going to need to get this out, which isn't a lot. So I'm just going to do I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it. Right. Wait, actually, the cut's up here. I'm a dum-dum. It's been a minute since I've done this mod. Okay, we're going to take it right there, and we're just going to cut it. Boom. Now I'm going to go ahead and strip this. So we're going to find the 14 to 16 stripping area down here. Take it, squeeze it, pull it, strip that. All right, so we've stripped that. Now we're going to strip this side. 14 to 16. Pinch and pull. All right, so now we've got this wire stripped on both sides, ready to be maled and spaded. Or maled and femaled, spaded, whatever. So you're going to twist those wires up that came out, those little copper wires. You're simply going to put the spade onto it until you see those wires just barely come through, all right? Like so, like so. Then you're going to take the crimp for 14 to 16. You're going to go right where that connection is. You're just going to squeeze with some power. Boom, we've crimped it. All right, so now that side's crimped, and we're going to put a male spade on the other side. Remember to twist those wires together. We're going to shove them right on in there. Then we're going to crimp it, like so. There we go. So now I've crimped a little excess wire. So now what I can go ahead and do is I'm going to take this male spade, I'm going to put it right inside, boop, female. And look at that, we have a little bit of extra room. So now I can easily plug this in to here. So I need to get a male spade here. So I'm going to twist, put this on. There we go. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Yeah, right here. And we're going to crimp it, like, there we go, crimped. And so now we have routed part of it into the pump. Now we need to route this side into the pump. So the way this side needs to go straight into it. So we need to get another wire that we cut from our spool, which is right here. And we need to have a spade here, a spade on the wire on one end, and then a female on the other. So we need to make this, since this one was male, we're going to make this one female, so we're going to take this on. Let's go and twist it. There we go. And put it into the 14-16 slot. We're going to crimp. There we go. I'm going to take another bit of wire, not very long. Snip that. Oh, come on through. There we go. So I've taken that wire off, and again, we're going to strip it. All righty. Strip that, flip the side, and strip this side. Ugh. There we go. All right, so once they're stripped, of course, we're going to twist again, and we need to get the male and female spade out. All right, so we're going to get the male right here. Oh, that's not. Sometimes it takes a little extra twisting to make it all the way through. You need it to go all the way and make connection. There we go. On the other side. Boop, crimped. And over here, twist. I throw this through, make a little crimp. All right, so now, very simply, we're just going to make the connection here. Connection male to female right there. Push it with some force. And then we're going to connect it back to the pump. Hold the pump down. They're pretty tight connections, so don't worry about putting a little force on it. There we go. All right, so now we have that connected. So I like to find a ground wire like right here, and I like to just add this to it, but I don't feel like undoing that right now. Just know that you'll need to ground it as well, just for safety purposes, but I like to live life on the edge, and I'm not doing that right now. So this is where that would go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put this back on. And so with some machines, this one's a little bit more stubborn than other machines I've done this mod to. With this one, I've had to do a little drill out here in order to let the wires come out once that back is flush on. You can drill a hole somewhere else, but you will need to do a little bit of modification to this, so just know this will void your warranty, obviously. But if you've had your machine long enough, or if you feel confident with your machine, or like I said, some machines you don't need to do anything to it, like when I did my Breville Barista Pro, where I did the Gauge Classic Pro, there was no drilling necessitated for this modification. But for this one, I did have to make a little bit of a hole in order to let these wires fit out between the, since there is no crevice for them to come out. So I'm going to just replace this, make sure these are fed through that little hole that I made. We're just going to pop it back in place. There we go. Yeah, it does. All right. All right, so now we've got that in, and I'm going to replace my screws. And here is the finished product. Of course, as I said, this is ugly for right now, but you can absolutely take a light box and adhesive to the side, or you can mount it on the inside and drill a hole and have a knob come out. You can even turn your own hole as long as it fits onto the dimmer. So now what we're going to do is once we turn this machine on, we'll be able to control that flow based off of the power going to the pump. All right, so once this comes on, I have it fully open right now. Ooh, a lot of steam. There we go, it's fully open. Now I'm going to slow it down. See how slow that's coming out now? And watch, I can turn it off. Off. Turning it back on. Hear the pump? Hear that? Slowing it down. And turning it off. So, as you see, I now have control over the flow. So let's go ahead, we'll pull a shot, and we're going to look at how I'm able to mess around with that flow rate throughout. But the benefit of this is now you're going to be able to pull low flow shots. So if you're wanting to do something like that Spro over that I did a video for linked right there, if you want to do something like a turbo shot, which I will now link right there, or if you want to do any style of pre-infusion or anything like that, you're going to be able to accomplish that on any machine with a vibratory pump with this simple, cheap modification. I mean, if you have to buy all this stuff, it'll be a little more expensive, but the actual dimmer itself should cost you anywhere from $5 to $8 US dollars. This stuff cost me like $8 or so for a whole spool. The crimpers themselves cost like $12. Most people have a Phillips head at home, and then the spades themselves, if you buy just the spades, are a couple dollars. So if you have absolutely nothing, overall the mod might cost $30. But a lot of us have some of these things in our home already. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at a shot. We're going to pull it and see what goes on. Here we go. I'm going to start with the dimmer all the way open. It's going to take just a second to start. I'm going to do a fast fill with it at full flow rate to fill up the puck, and then I'm going to slow it down. All right, it's full. Now I'm slowing it down all the way. So you see I've slowed it? It's just dripping. Now I'm going to speed up. Now look at that flow quicken. Now I'm going to slow it down again. You see how the flow got slower and thinner? Look how thin it is. Now I'm going to quicken it up again. And I'm going to slow it down again. I'm going to quicken it up again. See how that flow gets thick? Slow it down again. See how it's thin? One more time. Thick. Thin. Okay, I'm doing it again. Thick. With two C's. thin with one end. Okay, well, again, actually, because this is fun. Look at that. All right, so now I have full flow control on a cheap home espresso machine. So you're going to be able to do any of those shots that I've been talking about, and you're going to be able to control that flow rate in. And what you can also do is whenever you have this set up and you have it mounted on the machine, whatever you have it mounted on, you can take, if you have a Bluetooth scale, you can take it, hook it up to either the Akai app or the Smart Espresso Profiler app, and you're going to be able to measure the grams per second that the water is exiting the machine, which is water debit, which is in my Espresso, The Truth of Espresso and Pressure, which is linked right here. But you can mark down the water debits for each turn on the knob, have a little mark on the knob, and when it aligns with certain areas, you're going to know how much water debit there's going to be, so that you're going to have more specificity when you're trying to profile different styles of espresso. Anyway, this was super nerdy, and if you made it to the end, thank you very much. Please, hit that like button, the subscribe button, all that stuff. Take a moment to do that. It'd be super helpful. I'm going to put in the caption below what dimmer I used here that works on every machine I've used it on, as well as the sizes that you're going to need for the spades and for the wires. Yeah, so this obviously works with the Bambino Plus. It works with every Olka pump, and from what I've been told, every vibratory pump. I've just not modded anything other than Olka's, so it's the only one that I feel really confident talking about, but it's also the main one that's used in the market for pretty much any machine. It's in the Gajas, it's in the Brevilles, etc. Anyway, hope you enjoy this. Comment below if you've done this modification, or if you're going to try this modification, or if you're planning on buying a machine and you think you'll want to do it. It's really not that difficult, I promise you, and the risk is extraordinarily low because you're just unplugging one thing from the machine and then you're just routing in a new thing into it. It's not going to hurt your machine at all. The only thing that might hurt is obviously on this, I had to drill that little hole just to get this behind the water tank. Other than that, other machines, you don't even need to do that. This just has an unfortunately placed water tank. All right, well, that's it. That's the video today. I hope this was helpful and that you're going to be able to really level up your espresso game at home, regardless of your machine, regardless of the price. Going to be a lot of fun. Again, let me know below if you try this. Thank you, and cheers.